Hi, everybody. Sean McCracken here with AHLA's Rosanna Maietta. Hopefully, I got that perfectly correct this time.
Excellent.
So, Rosanna, we were just chatting a moment ago before recording. 7 months on the job as the head of AHLA. How is it going so far? How's the adjustment back to the hotel industry life?
Well, first, thanks for having me, Sean. Really appreciate all that you do. It's so good to be back. It was in many ways like coming home. This industry is so welcoming. I missed it so much in my 2-year absence, and I've loved every minute of it. At the same time, what an interesting time to be at the helm of this dynamic organization. There is so much activity and so much work that we need to do to make sure we're advancing the industry.
So, speaking of that work, what are the big challenges you guys are dealing with as advocacy lobbying group? Like, what are the regulatory issues? What are you really facing down at the moment?
So, top priority in Washington right now is passing the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Our team has been working aggressively to ensure that provisions that our industry cares about are part of that final package. And we were really pleased to see that many of those provisions were in the House bill. It's now going to the Senate. Congress is back from recess. Expectation is, and the president has said he wants to sign that bill on July 4th. So things are moving fast, and we're going to keep on track to make sure that the small business deduction is preserved and extended. Without that, there would be a tax hike for half of the small business owners in the country, of upwards of 20 to 25%, which would put many out of business. So we really need to make sure that stays included. 100% bonus depreciation extended for the next several years. So that's going to matter when it comes to increasing projects, its expansion, capital investments, and ongoing renovations that a lot of hotels want to do before some of the big events that we're expecting next year and the year after. And then the like-kind exchange and some other provisions, and no tax on tips, which will benefit 800,000 hotel employees.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of the talk, obviously, in a lot of those at conferences like this, and what we focus on is big nationwide issues. A big part of what you guys do is, state or local municipality advocacy too. What are the issues on those levels that you think people need to be paying more attention to?
Sure. Biggest issue that we're dealing with at the state and local level right now are labor issues. Onerous workforce mandates or extreme wage issues. We're experiencing that right now in Los Angeles. We've been fighting aggressively for more than a year to stay or to amend an ordinance that would see wages rising almost 60% virtually overnight. And a lot of hoteliers there who are feeling the pinch of a slowing of demand can't afford to stay open under that scenario. So we're fighting back.
Mm-hmm. It seems like in recent years, you guys have had to put a lot of attention and focus on Los Angeles in particular. I imagine that'll continue to be the case.
It's a tough market. You haven't seen a lot of real hotel development in the last 10 years. People don't want to invest. They can't afford it. The math just doesn't make any sense. And so right now, if you think about it, travel and tourism accounts for almost 500,000 jobs in Los Angeles alone. That's a lot of jobs. But these types of ordinances will force many people to go out of business. And that means those jobs are lost.
Mm-hmm. So obviously a big part of what people are talking about in the state of the industry right now is international demand. Obviously, regulations, laws play a big factor into that. Are you guys pushing for anything to kind of streamline or improve the pipeline of international demand to hotels?
Sure. Well, it's so important that we maintain a strong travel and tourism industry in this country. Travel and tourism accounts for $900 billion just in the hotel sector alone, $900 billion of GDP. So not insignificant contributions to this economy. So ensuring that we have a welcome message is so important. And we've had conversations both with members of Congress and the administration to talk about how the policies that they are adopting are going to impact the travel industry.
It seems that, I was at the Lodging Industry Investment Council meeting yesterday, and there was some discussion about this and how, hoteliers on that committee would actually like to see more of a concerted effort in terms of, marketing the United States internationally as a destination. That seems to have gone by the wayside in recent years. I'm sure that's something you like to see come back.
Well, Brand USA is, an important public-private partnership.
Yeah.
We are huge promoters of that as our partners at U.S. Travel Association. So making sure that that program remains viable is so important to ensuring that people overseas see what America has to offer, and that, you create that desire to be traveling to the U.S. So we're hopeful that that program will continue.
You brought up the labor issues already, but I do want to ask you, it's obviously something that's hugely impactful to the industry on an ongoing basis. I mean, what are you guys hoping to accomplish to kind of make a more hotel-friendly business or labor environment out there?
Sure. Look, it's going to take a multi-pronged effort to change some of these city councils, right? If you think about who is passing laws, making sure that they have an understanding of what we are as an industry, what our contributions are. So you're going to see us ramp up our engagement with city council officials, state officials, federal officials. I mean, we do it all the time, but those people are continuously changing and evolving and moving on to different jobs. So we need to tell our story more consistently, and not just us at AHLA, but having our members do that too, talking about how they anchor communities and what that means. Building stronger business coalitions in every market is going to be so important. So you'll see us doing more of that.
So, I mean, obviously we mentioned that you came back 7 months ago. How's the transition to, leadership position at AHLA gone? Like, how do you feel like, do you have any sort of long-term plans for the organization that you want to put your fingerprint on what you guys are doing?
Absolutely. Look, I'm a storyteller by nature, former reporter, right? It's all about telling stories. So I think for me, it's about making sure we are more visible and that we're telling our story more consistently around the country. We have such a great story to tell, and to make sure that people understand what the hotel industry means to the economy of this country and to every community. And the transition has been going really, really well. We have such a phenomenal team, and I'm very proud to lead it. It's such a privilege. I feel the weight of the responsibility of advancing this industry every day, and I think we're making some progress.
So obviously AHLA kind of went through its own transformation over the last couple of years, and absorbed some other industry organizations that were doing different functions within the industry, like HT&G.
Yeah.
How has that gone, and how has it been kind of wrapping your arms around all the different things AHLA does now?
AHLA is really involved in so many things, and I think that provides so much value to our members. HT&G is one of the pillars of our organization. We just launched the T100, which brings together the technical minds who help us advance technology. If you think about the way a hotel is operating today compared to what we were doing 10 years ago, so much relies on technology and getting that right, whether it's easing that guest experience or behind the scenes on the ops side. So it is so important to everything we do. And also thinking about, they have such great engagement and they do such great work, best practices, standard setting, white papers, are really educating the industry on technology. How can we replicate that across some of the other committees that we're doing too is something that I'm really keen on.
The other thing I want to ask is, obviously there's been some instances in the last couple of years of, there's a lot of industry organizations and they all have their different reasons for existing and goals and mission statements. weren't all necessarily moving in the same direction over at different points the last couple of years. So I do wonder, like, what are you guys doing to kind of get everyone at least facing in the same direction, working towards similar goals?
Well, first of all, I think, there are so many things happening in this industry. There's room for everyone, right?
Yeah.
We're all doing different things, as we should be, right? But I'm a strong believer in partnership and collaboration. And so I have made a point of reaching out to all of our industry partners in my first 6 months to have conversations to see where we can collaborate, where can we align. The challenges that we face right now are really great. There are so many. They're very complicated and complex. And unless we are working together, we're not going to achieve anything. So I'm a firm believer in partnerships and trying to expand where we can. When you all come together with one voice, it does make a difference. So, I'm pleased to see where we can go from here.
Mm-hmm. I imagine as, a lobbying organization, it would be difficult to have, if you're in the ear of any politician out there, if they're hearing something contradictory to what you're telling them, then that's going to kind of...
Yeah, it absolutely helps when we can all join forces.
Yeah.
And, we've done that in LA, where AHLA came together with our team, with AHLA, as well as other groups. We're working with the airlines. And so coming together on the same mission and cause has an impact.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else you guys think is interesting? Or
look, we have our hands full. There's certainly a lot going on in and outside Washington, and I would just say that the more that we can all engage together, and anyone who is involved in the hotel industry has the ability to meet a member of Congress, talk to a city council official if you have relationships, leveraging those on behalf of the industry. You can't tell a story enough times for people to really understand how we contribute to the economy and how vital we are to this nation.
For sure. All right. Well, thanks so much. I really appreciate the time.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Davon Reed.
I'm Omari Head.
And I'm Chris Henry.
We're the hosts of the Next Gen in Lodging podcast. It's a monthly show in which we interview a new generation of hoteliers to get their insights into a variety of disciplines and topics, from finance to food and beverage and hotel operations. Listen to us on Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks for listening. This episode was recorded on June 3rd, 2025, and edited by me, Sean McCracken. Visit costar.com/hotel news for all the latest hotel industry news every day.